Alright guys, boatload of new fragrances are launching or probably already launched, and I'm going to cover them in this video today. This is probably going to be the last time I do upcoming releases fragrances this year. Obviously the year is coming to an end, but most likely next year we'll have another boatload of fragrances launching every so often, and I'll continue doing these videos. But if you're curious to learn about upcoming new releases, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, there's a ton of new stuff coming out that I'm excited about and I'm kind of curious about. There's some fragrances that have launched already, which I'm going to talk to you about. But yeah, there's some really cool fragrances. The one that I'm really excited about is the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. I've been kind of like bummed and kind of unimpressed with the fragrances from Maison Margiela recently. Every single one that I've sampled for a while are kind of boring, not really exciting. But this one, On a Date, sounds really fun. Created by Carlos Benayem, very well-known, long-lasting perfumer who's created a ton of stuff. Really very popular stuff, and he works for IFF. So On a Date seems like a fruity floral fragrance. To me, when I'm looking at the notes, kind of seems like it goes into the chypre genre. It has oak moss, patchouli, but more like a fruity chypre. I'm thinking that's what it is. I'd like to get my nose on it ASAP. We'll see if I can find it on my travels, if it's already launched in Europe. But it's black currant with Davana, pink pepper, rose, geranium, patchouli, vetiver, moss, musk, and bergamot. So it has aromatic touches, loads of fruits and spices, and of course patchouli, oak moss. That to me sounds like it's going into that chypre genre direction. So does this one sound great to you guys? Have you sampled anything from the house as of late that you really liked? Let me know, put a comment down. So the next two fragrances are from that German band, the really heavy hard rock metal, speed metal, I don't know, industrial, all of that. I'm not a big fan of the band RAMMSTEIN, but they've got two fragrances. One of them is called Pussy, and the other one's called Seaman Reloaded. So these guys are cranking out the fragrances over and over. Not over and over. Like every couple of months, or maybe not even a couple months, every so often there's a new fragrance. I just spoke about Engel Pure. Now we've got Pussy, of course, and then Seaman Reloaded. Seaman Reloaded seems like it's the third or fourth flanker of Seaman, but Pussy features notes of blonde woods, rosewood, honey pomelo, tuberose, jasmine, pheromones, and hyacinth. Very interesting ad for that one. As you can see, the pomelo, or the grapefruit. And then Seaman Reloaded, sand, musk, algae, sea salt, birch leaf, elemi, absinthe. So I have most of the fragrances. I'm missing one, and of course they've now got Engel Pure, now we've got Pussy and Seaman Reloaded. What's next for the band to launch fragrances? I don't know if you guys are fans of these fragrances. They're very inexpensive at buying at drugstores in Germany, and I've actually had recommended a friend who was visiting Germany. He said, where can I buy some inexpensive fragrances coming from the States? And I said, well, you should definitely check out the RAMMSTEIN fragrances, and he seemed to like some of them. So I don't know if you guys have tried these ones. I know Pussy was out already, but Seaman Reloaded, I think it's just on its way out. And have you guys tried Engel Pure yet either? So let me know if you have. I'd like to find out what it's all about. I'd like to figure out a way to get these fragrances if I can, because they're kind of collector's items to me. Some of them do run out, and they do smell great. I think they're really worth the price these cost, like 35, 45 bucks, or in euros in Germany, obviously. I think they're definitely worth the price point. So Tower Perfumes has a new fragrance called GOLESTAN, and actually really in love with the way the design work on the bottle is, the photo that they've put on it, really beautiful. The only thing about this fragrance is I smelled it and it reminds me of another discontinued Tower fragrance. But now that they have GOLESTAN, I'm curious to try this one as well, because I sampled it and I enjoyed it. It did remind me of that other fragrance. I think it's called something like Solo La Luna, something like that, I can't remember. It was a floral based fragrance, but this one is vanilla, Ylang-Ylang, tuberose, patchouli, jasmine, patchouli, a lot of stuff going on. It's floral, it's powdery, it's earthy, and definitely has the Tower oud, the Tower DNA, and that beautiful bottle. I definitely want to get a bottle of Tower Perfumes GOLESTAN. If you've tried it, let me know, put a comment down. Moving on to Labo, they have, I think, an exclusive fragrance. I don't know where this is exclusive to, too. It could also be a city exclusive. It's Geranium 33. I do enjoy this note. Geranium has rosy and minty touches. So in the end, it's got its own unique smell, but when you smell it like really deeply, you can smell the mintiness, you can smell the rosiness, and sometimes perfumers use geranium to kind of use in place of rose, and sometimes they use it to enhance the rose. But this one sounds really wonderful. It's bourbon geranium, cedar, sandalwood, musk, rose, centifolia, bergamot, black pepper. I really love geranium odorata from the house of Diptyque, and I'm always looking forward to geranium fragrances. Now moving on to a house I haven't ever spoken on this channel, and in the 80s and 90s they used to release some powerhouse fragrances. BENETTON, We Are Tribe. Are you guys familiar with BENETTON? I don't even know what they do. Are they around for clothes anymore? I think I see their clothes. But BENETTON's fragrances then used to be great. I don't know what they are like now, but I'm curious to try We Are Tribe. But it seems like it's going to go very mass. This is a men's fragrance featuring notes of Cypriol, vetiver, amber, lavender, vervain, tonka beans, and a lot of other citruses and spices thrown in. Seems like it's going to be woody, aromatic, earthy, spicy, ambery, and citrusy. So have you guys tried this? Is it out yet? Hopefully I can get my nose on it on my travels. I'm actually hoping I can get my nose on the Labo Geranium 33 in the UK. The last time I was in the UK, I was able to find fragrances that are really difficult to find everywhere else. So London has really great access to a lot of different fragrances that you can't find at certain places. Plus a lot of the stores have exclusive fragrances from brands. I think it's great that I'm going to be looking for all these fragrances. Alright, the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Van Cleef & Arpels Moonlight and Patchouli Le Parfum. Now, this is one of my favorite fragrances from Van Cleef & Arpels. This is the Eau de Parfum in the collection Extraordinaire. But they are launching a parfum version of this, which sounds super divine, because this particular fragrance is so delicious. It's a cheaper fragrance. It's the patchouli, rose, a bit of oak mossiness and things like that in here. It's spicy, it's earthy, but definitely very patchouli and ambery. But it seems like the Le Parfum is going even deeper and further into kind of a leathery direction, and it features patchouli, amber, suede, Bulgarian rose, bergamot, and spices. Are you guys a fan of the Moonlight Patchouli? Do let me know. I'm curious if you've smelled the Le Parfum version of Moonlight Patchouli. I'm very, very excited about that one. This is the first time I think they've launched a Le Parfum. Moving on to the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur, it's Soleil de Provence. This seems like a yellow floral bomb with lots of mimosa flower, along with Ylang-Ylang, lemons, bergamot, vanilla, benzoin. Seems like it's going to be ambery and to dry down. It has some citruses up top, and the heart features 2 yellow flowers, mimosa, Ylang-Ylang. Mimosa for that kind of powdery, almondy, very, very light, fragile kind of a smell. To me, it reminds me of child or baby, a little baby powder, and then it's meshed with Ylang-Ylang, so it's a tropical floral. To me, Ylang-Ylang has a kind of a very banana-like smell. So we'll see how this one is. It's a beautiful bottle once again, and I'm always curious to check out what L'Artisan Parfumeur launches. Moving on to Mancera, they have a fragrance called Of the Wild. Are you guys a fan of Mancera fragrances? This seems very fruity. It features notes of musk, patchouli, strawberry, pear, heliotrope, orange blossom, jasmine, vanilla, toffee, and vetiver. So whenever they throw in that toffee, I always wonder, why are they throwing in that toffee? Because it does seem to come up quite a bit in a lot of their fragrances, especially as of late. Not only in Mancera, but also in Montal. But you know, patchouli, strawberry, pear, musk, I like the idea of it. Strawberry can smell a bit girlish, like, you know, like young girl kind of. So I'm always cautious about strawberry. We've been, you know, overloaded with lots of cherry fragrances, but now we've got something with strawberry here. But the pear, strawberry, patchouli, musk, sounds fine. So Memo Paris, they seem to be a pretty underrated niche house, and they have a new fragrance out called Sherwood. Where do they come up with this name? I don't know. I didn't really look into the story behind it. It hasn't launched yet. But once again, I'm curious about the brand. It's got black currant, pink pepper, spices, oak, rose, sandalwood, dried fruits, carrot seeds, iris, violet, cashmere. Seems like it's going to be all over the place with the notes, but it seems like it could come together very nicely, or not. For me, I'd like to find out the backstory of this one. It seems maybe a bit travel themed, because they do seem to have a lot of travel themed fragrances. And you know, they do launch some great fragrances. I think they have a great house of fragrances. It's just hardly anybody talks about the brand except for something like African Leather, which is fairly popular from the brand. Are you a fan of Memo Paris? Do let me know, put a comment down so I can find out. Moving on to the house of Theo Cabanel, they have a fragrance called Encore, and to me, from what I smelled, I got a sample from them, and to me it smells like a very powdery, inspired by carrot cake fragrance, which I'm a big fan of carrot cake, one of my favorite cakes to eat. I could eat it day in, day out. I love this stuff. To me, it didn't smell very carrot cakey. It's very powdery, but it did have a bit of kind of a hint of carrot cake in a kind of a fruity direction. It's carrot seeds with iris, vanilla, musk, sandalwood, ambroxan, and peach. And I think it's the peach with all the other notes that kind of made it kind of carrot cake-like. To me, it doesn't smell full-on carrot cake, but it is inspired by carrot cake according to the ad work that they had attached to the sample. I'm very interested in it because I love powdery fragrances, and the idea of carrot cake is great. So if you've tried Encore, do let me know, put a comment down. Moving on to the house of Tiziana Terenzi, we've got two fragrances from them. It's Vittorial. First fragrance is Vittorial, and both of the fragrances I'm going to talk to you about have the date 2022 listed on the bottles. This one is a leather tobacco combo with labdanum, oud, ambergris, cardamom, violet leaves, patchouli, oak moss, musk. Seems earthy, seems musky, definitely woody, and it also has this kind of ozonic touch with the violet leaves, and of course you got the ambergris. Can go animalic, so we'll see, because Tiziana Terenzi doesn't do animalic over the top, but can mix it in sometimes, kind of somewhat working really well. So we'll see how it is, because in addition to the leather, the ambergris might have a bit of an animalic touch with Vittorial. And then the second fragrance from Tiziana Terenzi is Il Piacere. I think that's how you say it. This one seems a bit more fresh and not as dense and you know, rough with the leather and animalic notes in that one. This has white ginger with lily, Bulgarian rose, peony, jasmine, sambac, artemisia, bergamot, peach, orange blossom. So fresh, fruity, citrusy, a floral for sure. And then I feel like this one kind of leans a bit feminine, and then the first one I mentioned leans very masculine with the notes, and both of the fragrances have that date 2022. And the last time I saw the date, the year on a fragrance of theirs is Dionisio, which is a vanilla that I have that's really, really delicious. If you guys haven't tried that vanilla, check it out, but we'll see how these two fragrances are from Tiziana Terenzi. And then moving on to two fragrances from the house of DS and Durga. I'm kind of slowly kind of moving into discovering more fragrances from this house, and I'm curious about the greatest cologne of all time, and then Roman Fruit Cellars. Very interesting names. I guess the greatest cologne of all time, I don't know why they would call it that, because there's so many cologne fragrances out there, like inspired by Eau de Cologne, like the very first colognes from Cologne, Germany. But I guess this is the DS and Durga version. It features bergamot with citron, lavender, mandarin, neroli, orange blossom, rosemary, and petitgrain. So if you like the idea of 4711, that's the kind of idea this is. If you like the idea of neroli portofino, that's the kind of idea this is. This will be their own take on that kind of a style of fragrance, so we'll see how it is. And then moving on to Roman Fruit Cellars, really weird name for me. And this one features lots of fruity notes, obviously. It's called Roman Fruit Cellars. It's apricot with black cherry, strawberry, blackcurrant, bergamot, mandarin, violet, poplar trees, frankincense. Very interesting combination of notes. For me, Roman Fruit Cellars seems more exciting than the greatest cologne of all time, although I'm always curious to try like a 4711 style fragrance. So are you a fan of DS and Durga? Let me know, put a comment down. I recently featured Leather Eyes in a video. If you're curious about that one, go catch that video. So I haven't spoken much about Stora Skogen on the channel, and they do sell the fragrances here at ZGO Perfumery, and I smelled the latest one there. I didn't buy it. It's Azalea, I believe. I know there are some fans out there, and I really love their bottles with the round tops, very kind of colorful and very unique. They almost look like globes to me, but colorful globes. But this one smelled pretty good. I want to kind of come back to it, and I kind of maybe want to dig into the house. It's saffron with dried fruits. There's blood orange, mint, incense, acacia flower, amber, Velvion. And I looked up Velvion. It's powdery musk from Givaudan. It's like a special proprietary ingredient or note from that firm. But yeah, I like the idea of this one. It smells nice. It was musky and a bit leathery and smoky, and of course floral as well. So I'd like to circle back to check it out. Let me know if you're a fan of Stora Skogen and which fragrances do you enjoy. Okay, so I'm also going to bring up these two fragrances. I'm not the biggest fan of celebrity fragrances, but I'm very kind of put off by the bottles. And I shouldn't say really put off, but these bottles are weird. Ariana Grande's Maud Vanilla and Maud Blush. Are you guys fans of Ariana Grande fragrances? Her Cloud is very popular as an alternative to Baccarat Rouge 540 from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. But always curious to try the vanilla fragrances, and of course the blush sounds great too. I feel like both of these might go in the direction of Baccarat Rouge, but I could be wrong. Maybe the second one, the Maud Blush. But the vanilla features notes of vanilla, coconut, musk, praline, plum, pink freesia, orris root. And then the Maud Blush features notes of raspberry, passion fruit, musk, dreamwood, pear, rose, pink pepper, bergamot, magnolia, and ambroxan. So that ambroxan might be the clue that it might go in that direction of Baccarat Rouge. But I don't know, will she do another Baccarat Rouge clone? Because she already has Cloud. Let me know if you want me to dig into these fragrances or if you want me to skip them, but the bottles look kind of weird to me. What do you guys think about the bottles? And then last but not least, it's Lorenzo Pazzaglia's Cherry Ink, another cherry fragrance. I've spoken about Lorenzo Pazzaglia on the channel, but not Cherry Ink obviously, and this one seems like a cherry bomb with cherries, sour cherry, red wine, rum, ink, patchouli, benzoin, myrrh, bergamot, rose, tonka, and vanilla, with lots of other stuff going on. But I like the idea of this one because it has ink and it has the cherries, so it's cherry ink. Originally when I heard about this fragrance, I thought it was ink as in incorporated, but it's cherry ink as in the ink that you write with. Sour cherry, cherry, red wine, ink, rum. Oh my god, sounds very interesting. I'm very curious to try it. If you guys have tried it, let me know. Put a comment down. And that's the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today. Very exciting fragrances I'm willing to check out very soon. Hopefully I'll be able to get my nose on these. If you've smelled them already, do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, a couple more fragrances that I've spoken about already on the channel, and the bottles are out, but in case you have missed them, first one is from the house of Narcotica. It's Doza, this one right here. I recently featured it in a video. It's a brand new fragrance, and it's an amber fragrance. I really like their Dulce Diablo, but the Doza is really nice as well. It's kind of it's a lightly smoky, a bit nutty, but sweet and resinous amber fragrance. To me, it has a bit of a doughiness in there as well, but it's sweet amber with blonde tobacco, labdanum, vanilla beans, and myrrh. Quite delicious, but you know, I still prefer Dulce Diablo because I find its potency really intense and you know, inviting for a very intense fragrance. But Doza is really close behind a Dulce Diablo. Check that out. And then this is a brand new fragrance from the house of Obvious Parfums. I featured it in a video recently. Un Oud. This is a very nice, pleasant oud fragrance, a western oud fragrance. It has pink berries or pink pepper, elemi, papyrus essence, and of course oud. It's a bit like a toss-up between something like Tom Ford's Oud Wood with lots of papyrus, because Tom Ford's Oud Wood does not feature papyrus, but it has that kind of western oud and woody smell, and this is kind of like that with that really prominent smell of papyrus. So if you like the idea of papyrus and fragrances, definitely check out Un Oud. And then last but not least, it's Gozo Lab Edition, a brand new version of Gozo. It comes in a 100 ml bottle in a clear bottle. It's limited edition, I found out off of the Javoy website. I have this one right here, and if you don't know Gozo, to me it's a patchouli, but almost like head shop patchouli with incense and candy mixed in. To me the orange is kind of key for this one. I don't know if it was intentional to put this in an orange bottle. To me it's like a hard candy, an orange color, and that smell of that with like the head shop smell, the incense, the patchouli, kind of like a Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco mixed in. So if you haven't tried it, try it. But there is that new lab edition, as I said, and it comes in a 100 ml bottle. Anyway, that's the last fragrance I'm talking about today. And stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.